Hey YouTube, if you have a student loan, you're about to start paying hundreds of dollars a month in student loan payments and interest. Stick around. In this video, I'm going to tell you what your options are, how you can refinance that, and how you can lower your payment by hundreds of dollars every month, saving you tens of thousands of dollars over the course of the loan. Hey guys, I'm Preston from Finance Mind, where I help you invest, make better financial decisions, and talk all things business. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing we want to understand as we're thinking about refinancing our student loans, let's take a step back and understand what the whole picture is like for student loans in the United States. Here's some interesting stats for you. First, student loan debt in the United States is $1.75 trillion. Just to help put that in perspective for you, $1.75 trillion is about 8% of the GDP of the United States per year. That means it would take everything America produces, all of the money it earns, 1 month to pay off all the student loan debts in the country. It's a lot of money we're talking about. Another interesting stat, 15% of US adults carry student loan debt. And of that student debt, the average loan is $37,000. To help again put that in perspective, assuming you have about a 7% interest rate on those loans, that's about $330 a month you're paying in student loans. If you got rid of that loan and took that same $330, you could buy a brand new 2022 Toyota Tacoma for the same amount. So just think about it. Your student loan is costing you a truck, a brand new truck every single year. So the next question is, what do we do about it? How do we lower that student loan payment or get rid of your student loan entirely? In 2020, as you all know, your student loans went into forbearance. What does that mean? That means that your loans were no longer accruing any interest. So your loans were essentially free for about 2 years. The US government has continually extended this forbearance period a number of times, and now this forbearance period is set to expire on September 1st of this year, 2022. Now, if you're a Dave Ramsey connoisseur, you've probably listened to his advice and you've been paying off your student loans despite there being 0% interest for the last 2 years. Sorry to tell you, that wasn't the smartest financial decision to make. And let me tell you why. Your student loans were costing you 0% interest. You could have taken that exact same money that you would have put down towards your student loans and invested it and made 7%, 10% interest on that same money that you would have been spending on your student loans. It wasn't costing you anything, so there was no benefit for you to pay that student loan down yet. Now you could have taken that exact same money and put it in a whole range of investments, from risky to moderate risk to no risk at all. You could have taken that money and put it into a high interest savings account. That means your money would have grown in a savings account, extremely safe, over the course of 2 years, and then you'd have more money now to pay off your student loan. Or you could have taken that money and put it into an index fund or a mutual fund and made 7 to 10, even 20% interest over the course of the last 2 years. And that money that you took and invested would be worth way more now, and you'd have a lot more purchasing power and invest it back into the loan now that student loan repayments are beginning again. And doing what Dave Ramsey tells you to do, it might have felt really good to pay down your student loans because it is a little bit scary to sit there and hold on to $20, $30, $40, $100,000 in student loans. And it does feel good to start paying that off and chunking it away. That's kind of Dave Ramsey's strategy, but that honestly is not the best way to manage your money. You always have to think when you're making financial decisions, what's the best use of this money so that I can make the greatest return on investment? Sometimes, depending on how much your student loans are costing you, if your student loan is a 10% interest rate and the best interest that you can get on an investment is 5%, well then it's definitely better for you to pay off your student loan because it's costing you 10%. But your loan probably isn't costing you that much, especially during forbearance where it's costing you absolutely nothing. So always the better decision in this case would have been to invest that money instead, and now you'd be in a better position financially, ready to pay off those student loans. So if you're one of those people that is sitting on a big stack of student loans and you're worried about those loans starting up again here in September, let's talk about what you should do. There are 2 primary questions that you have to ask yourself. First, is the US government going to extend student loan forbearance again? In my opinion, they're not. As all of you know, inflation is skyrocketing right now. Inflation is in the news everywhere. We all know it's impacting us. We go to the grocery store, we see that we're paying significantly more for everything. Go to the gas station, it costs way more to fill up. Try to find a car, it costs way more if you can even find one to buy. Everything costs more now. This is because the United States government has injected a significant amount of money into the economy, which has thus raised prices for everything. So that means the federal government probably isn't going to extend loans again, because that will contribute to effectively adding more money back into the economy, which will mean the United States government will be effectively injecting more money back into the economy, thus contributing to more inflation. Now we know the government is trying to do everything they can to cut down inflation. So what does that mean? In my opinion, they're not going to extend student loan forbearance again. So that means you need to prepare to pay off your student loans. The second question we have to ask, which I think all of you who owe a significant amount of money to the government in student loans, you are probably praying and hoping for, is will the US government wipe out student debt? Again, I think it's the same argument from before. Given the state of inflation right now, there's no way the US government is going to effectively forgive $1.75 trillion of student debt, which is effectively injecting all of that money back into the economy, thus contributing to more and more inflation. I don't think there's any way the government is going to do that. When thinking about refinancing your loan, there's three primary metrics that we have to think about. Number one is term of the loan. Do you want a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, or 20-year loan? Second is, do you want a variable or fixed rate loan? And third, what interest rate are you going to be able to get? Combining these three metrics will give you what your new student loan payment will be, how long it will take you to pay it off, and how much savings you're going to see from your current student loan to what you're going to get right now. Now, I think right now is a fantastic time for you to refinance your loan from federal to private lenders, because rates are still pretty low. And as we know from what the US government is doing with interest rates, they're just going to keep going up. If you wait another 6, 10, 12 months, the rate that you're going to get then is probably going to be a lot higher than it is now. So what kind of rates can you get? Let's take a look at NerdWallet's student loan refinance calculator, and let's just take a look to see and quantify how much savings you could get by refinancing your student loan today. Now, my suggestion here is to wait as long as you can. Again, you're still getting 0% interest, so I would wait until July or August really to refinance your loan. So that way you maximize the amount of time that you have your loan under forbearance or you're not paying any interest. Okay, so we put in some details here. So $37,000, 7% interest rate, 15-year term, your monthly payment, again, $332, effectively your payment on a brand new 2022 Toyota Tacoma. And again, here you can see a number of new rates again. So 2.74, 3.49, 4.49, 2.43. So quite a range of rates that are actually really competitive. Variable, you can see, is even lower. However, I definitely do not recommend getting a variable rate loan. The reason I don't recommend that is variable works off prime, which is essentially the rate that banks charge each other to loan money. So this is the absolute best interest rate that you could get. And then they have some sort of addition on top of that, which is essentially their margin. So if you have a prime plus 1 or prime plus 2 loan, you'll be paying the prime interest rate plus 1% or plus 2% or whatever it is that it might be. That being said, the reason that I don't recommend getting a variable interest rate is the rates are so low right now. You can get a fixed rate loan for 2.43% here from Education Loan Finance. That will be fixed for the duration of your loan. Interest rates are at all-time lows still, even after the Fed has increased rates. So I highly recommend going with a fixed rate instead of a variable rate. So let's take a look at what it would look like here in step 3 if we got a new interest rate of 2.5%. So shifting our loan from 7% to 2.5%, what does that do? It does quite a lot. So as you can see, our old monthly payment here, $332. Our new monthly payment is $246, which is saving us $86 per month. And in total, over the duration of the loan, will save you $15,455. $15,000 is a lot of money over the course of 15 years. Now, this number, of course, will change depending on what interest rate you can get and the term that you select, but I highly recommend refinancing your student loans here in the next couple months so that you can lock in the lowest fixed interest rate that you can possibly get for whatever term that you're comfortable with so that you're not overburdening yourself with a loan payment. Now, some people might want a shorter term loan, 5 years or 10 years, and I think that's fine as long as you can make the monthly payment without any issues. The shorter the loan, the less that you're going to pay in interest. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I really hope that you found this useful. Please remember to like the video, subscribe, comment down below. I will be sure to get to every single question and respond to your comments. Thank you, and see you next time.